Hello everyone, and welcome on back to the channel. A long time no see, and I hope you have been absolutely wonderful. I am here to bring you some more Guild Wars 2 news as the Janthier Wilds expansion continues on. March 11th, the next update launches, and in lieu of this coming update, they have released a blog post titled The Unseen Ones, a primer on the Mursaat. So I thought it would be nice to just read through it, give you a little bit of an update as to who the Mursaat are, where we might be going, and what has currently happened in Janthier Wilds. So, without further ado, let's begin. It reads, our second major update for Guild Wars 2 Janthier Wilds is coming on March 11th, and we'll be sharing many details about what to expect soon. Today, we'd like to spend some time recapping the known lore surrounding the nefarious and mysterious Mursaat. Brushing up on these stories will help set the stage for our upcoming release, but with that in mind, some story spoilers will be in this post, so proceed with caution. The first section is Ancient Rivalries. The Mursaat are a species of powerful spellcasters with a long and shadowed history in Tyria. These tall humanoids possess elongated bodies, preferring to float ominously rather than walk. Alongside the dwarves, Jotun, Forgotten, and Seers, the Mursaat are known as an elder race of Tyria, the beings who preceded and survived the rise of the Elder Dragons before the events of the original Guild Wars. In those ancient times, the Mursaat and Forgotten allied to subdue Zaitan, but their efforts failed, and the Mursaat resented the other elder races for pulling their support away before the fight had even begun. Sometime after the Elder Dragons returned to their slumber, the Mursaat and the Seers waged war for thousands of years until the Seers were all but extinct. During that war, the Mursaat began using a terrible weapon called spectral agony, which killed its victims while causing them indescribable amounts of pain. Yeah, the Mursaat really know how to do their big one. They were quite ominous in terms of Guild Wars 1's setting. They were very powerful. And then in Guild Wars 2, we've had a little bit of insight into the Mursaat, mostly with the raid Bastion of the Penitent. They were quite exceptional at their torture methods. And much like in the raid Bastion of the Penitent, which had to do with some of the White Mantle lore, the next section of this blog post is Rise of the White Mantle. After learning to hide from those without the gift of true sight, the Mursaat began manipulating Tyrian events in secret. Lazarus the Dyer was a powerful Mursaat who was instrumental in helping his people influence members of the other sentient races of Tyria. The Mursaat were particularly interested in keeping the Flameseeker prophecies, which foretold their own eradication by the Titans, from becoming a reality. I mean, it makes sense, they don't want to die. Lazarus chose the human Saul D'Alessio to form the White Mantle in an effort to rule Krita as puppets of the Mursaat. The Mursaat helped the Critons battle against the Char when they were outnumbered and desperate. This assistance came with a price, however, and the Mursaat killed any they deemed unworthy, leaving only the most stalwart zealots alive. Saul realized too late that these gods were not the salvation he prayed for, and he was taken away by his unseen masters. Even after Saul's abduction, the Mursaat used their White Mantle puppets to commit horrific sacrifices in an attempt to keep the door of Kamali shut and prevent the Titans from emerging. One site of these atrocities was Gavril, the human village in Janthier's century, the residents of which the White Mantle had subjugated. When the village was emptied, the Mursaat turned on their White Mantle sycophants. Ultimately, the Mursaat failed. The door of Kamali was opened, the Titans emerged, and the Mursaat fell. We learned of Gavril in Janthier's century in this expansion, Janthier Wilds, and I must admit and kind of reiterate that this part of the expansion was, in my opinion, very well done. I loved getting the insight into Gavril, being able to speak with all the spirits who have been sacrificed there. It was very ominous, extremely eerie, and very dark, and I absolutely love it when fantasy worlds, which are often so bright with magic and hope, aren't afraid to lean into that more dark side, where you get to see the sacrifice and the killing and the ritual, and it's all very dark, but with the undertone of they're trying to, the Mursaat themselves, save their race from the Titans. The next section is Mastering Mursaat Shadowcraft. The The Mursaat practiced a kind of magic called shadowcraft, which allowed them to travel through a shadowed pocket of existence within Tyria. Using Mursaat mirrors, they were able to travel long distances in a short amount of time by passing through that shadowed realm. A new mastery line in the next major release will allow the Wayfinder to tap into this same magic after learning more about the Mursaat and exploring the outer ruins of one of their great cities. So we get a little bit of new lore there, I think, and a little bit of new information as to what is coming in the next release, and this is Mursaat Shadowcraft. I do know that in the past, we've heard of the Mursaat being able to slip into different realms and travel unseen, but I don't know if I've ever heard it be referred to as Shadowcraft. That might just be, left and being lost on my own, knowledge. And the final section of this post is exploring the Mistburn Barrens. During the events of Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure, the last expansion, we learn that the Mursaat do not originate from Tyria at all, but in fact came from Nyos, the realm of dreams. We also discovered that the Mursaat weren't entirely extinct, and we were introduced to Mabon, a senior member of the Wizard's Court and our only known Mursaat ally. In the next major release for Guild Wars 2 Janthier Wilds, the Wayfinder will explore the ruined outskirts of Bavanissos, an ancient Mursaat city built on the battleground where the Mursaat Seer Wars finally ended, with the Seers defeated. With their enemies gone and the human gods withdrawn from the world, the Mursaat thrived in Bavanissos until the door of Kamali opened. Shortly after that, the Titans attacked and destroyed the city. Mabon, as one of the last remaining Mursaat, had cast a ward over the ruins to preserve its memory, but that ward fell after his death. The city's secrets are now unearthed for all to see. There is much to be learned about the Mursaat from the newly accessible remnants of Bavanissos. Studying their last home may provide deeper insight into who they were as a people. Make sure to check back next week for more information about Guild Wars 2's next update, coming March 11th. And that was the blog post. The first half of it was a primer on the Mursaat, reintroducing some of the ideas of their history, where they came from, who they fought, who they were allied with, and how they ultimately met their demise against the Titans. And then also, I love to see it, the rekindling of Mabon as a character and bringing him up. They killed him pretty quickly in Secrets of the Obscure, I'd have to say, especially as he was our only Mursaat ally. It's nice to hear that he has still some importance in the current story, with his wards around Bavanissos now being destroyed, which allows for the events of this expansion to unfold. So in a way, he had to die. But on top of this, which they don't explicitly mention, but kind of just allude to, I would say, with the one section about the White Mantle, is that in-game in Janthier Wilds, there's a couple side quests and also books that you can discover in Janthier Sentry, which talk about a small troop or a small unit of the White Mantle still existing and still thriving, and they were in Janthier Sentry trying to get to Bavanissos, but every time they attempted it, they would die due to Mabon's wards. Now that Mabon is dead, we found a book that said the leader of that White Mantle unit is now going to Bavanissos. So on top of learning about the Mursaat, I'm fully expecting to interact with some of those White Mantle characters, which were talked about in Janthier Sentry. And I think this is all kind of maybe boiling up to some, interesting Mist Realm stuff with, of course, the Mursaat. Are we going to see more Mursaat come through? Because, they aren't completely dead, perhaps, with their Shadowcraft being able to slip into the realms and evade their enemies. Are we going to see some, Realm of Torment stuff, maybe Abaddon or other godlike figures resurface? I don't know. There's a lot of speculation and a lot of interest. And also more, I personally want to know more about, the Door of Kamali. Is there another door somewhere else that is not in the Fire Island chains? Who knows? But all of it is boiling up to the newest release. Let's see where all of this layers onto each other and how it builds off of itself. And that's what I'm most excited for Guild Wars 2's future. And I want to say thank you all for coming on by and watching and listening to this video. That is your summary of the newest blog post, giving you some more information about the Mursaat, and perhaps where we'll be going next in Bavanisos. Be sure to check back on the channel next week, where we talk about more for Guild Wars 2, Chanthier Wilds. And with that being said, you can catch me over on Twitch playing a plethora of games, from Marvel Rivals to Baldur's Gate to Guild Wars 2 to various other games. And you can also check out my shorts, where I've been posting a lot more Marvel Rivals content. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everyone. Mwah.